Hi everyone, welcome to my lab session. Okay, so in this lab I'll be exploring AWS IAM, that is Identity and Access Management. Okay, so in this session I'll be exploring users and groups, and also I'll be inspecting associated policies in the AWS IAM service. Also, I'll be adding users to groups already assigned, and also verify the permissions that are associated with them. Okay, so for just a brief overview of what AWS IAM means and what it does. AWS IAM, which is Identity and Access Management, is actually a service that provides fine-grained access, okay, across all of AWS. Now with this IAM, you can actually control access to services and resources under specific conditions. So you can use IAM, actually the policies, IAM policies, you can use it to manage permissions for your workforce and systems, and this ensures what is known as least privilege. Least privilege simply means you are granting only the permissions that are needed for any particular task. Nothing more than the permissions needed is what you'll be granted. It is known as least privilege. Okay, so we're going to start with IAM. So this is my lab environment, and these are the AWS management console. So we're going to head over to the IAM section so that we can check out the groups and the users. Actually, the groups have been created already. The users have also been created, but what we'll be doing in this lab is to add users to the groups. Okay, and also policies have been added to the groups already. So we'll be adding the users to the groups, and when the users are added to the groups, they now inherit the policy assigned to each group. And we'll also be testing these permissions to see how it works and if it really works. So this is the IAM session. Let's head over to our user groups so that we can check out the groups created. Okay, so here we have three groups: the EC2 admin group, the EC2 support group, and the S3 support group. So let's check them out. Let's start with the S3 support group. As you can see, there's no user in this group. We'll be adding a user to this group shortly. So going over to the permissions section, we're going to check out the policy assigned to it and what it does. So what we have here is the Amazon S3 read-only access. So this policy is just for read-only. That's the permission granted. Read-only. Let's see how it looks. An IAM policy is just a set of rules, okay, that states who can perform what. And is written most of the times in a JSON format, but it's quite easy to understand. Please load. Okay, so let's check this out. This is the EC2 admin policy. Let's see how it looks. This is actually an inline policy attached for just a particular task. It's an inline policy. Okay, so looking at it, this is how it looks in a JSON format. So what permissions are here? You have the permission to describe an EC2 instance and also to start and stop an instance. So what does the permission in this particular policy? So let's check out the others. Don't know why it wasn't loading. Okay, let's see the EC2 support. I hope it loads now. Okay, so EC2 support has the EC2 read-only access. Let's check out the JSON format and see how it looks. Okay, so as you can see, this is a policy. Okay, it has different elements. You have the version, the statement, the effect, action. Okay, so in this particular policy, it has the allow. Effect simply means allow or deny. In this case, it is allow. In some other cases, it could be deny. Okay, and the action says to describe. So this has the permissions to describe an EC2 instance and also to get security groups from VPC. Okay, if you come down, you also see it has permission to describe elastic load balancing, and also to list metrics for CloudWatch to get metric statistics. Okay, and also to describe CloudWatch. So these are the permissions granted, but for this lab we're going to be focusing on just EC2. So let's check out the third group, which is the S3 support group. Let's see how the policy looks like. Okay, so Amazon S3, this is read only access. Read only access, that's the permission on this one. It says allow to get, list, describe S3 objects. Okay, so that's permission granted on this one. So let's go over to the users and add them to the groups because they do not belong to any group. These permissions are only assigned to the groups and not to the users. So for the users to inherit these permissions, they have to be added to the group. Okay, so let's start from S3 support. So let's add user 1 to S3 support. You can see there's no user here, so let's add user 1 to this group. Add users. Automatically user 1 has been added to the S3 group. Let's go over to EC2 group. There's no user here, so let's add user 2 to this group. Okay, now we have user 2 in the EC2 support group. So let's go to the last group, which is the EC2 admin group. We're going to add user 3 to this group. So that's it. Automatically we have the 3 groups. EC2 admin, you have a user there. EC2 support, we have a user, and S3 support, we have a user. So these users have been added to this group, and then they have inherited the policy, the permissions of the group. So they now have the right access to actually perform their job functions because they are in the groups already. Okay, so we're going to check out these permissions and see what it does and how it does it, if actually it really works. So let's go over to our dashboard and copy our sign in URL so that we can check out these permissions. Okay, so we're going to be signing in to our incognito in a browser so that we can sign in. So we'll be signing in one after the other, user 1, user 2, user 3. so that we test out these permissions and see how it works. Okay, so let's sign in user 1. Okay, so user 1 is signed in already. So we're going to head over to S3. Remember, the permission granted is read-only access to S3 buckets. So let's see if we can actually view. Okay, so here we are. So let us view this bucket. So you see we have permission to view. We have permission to view this bucket. So let's see if we can do any other thing apart from view. Let's head over to EC2 and see if we can do anything on EC2. See the error message. It says you are not authorized to perform this operation. That's because this user is actually not authorized to perform any action here. The only access granted is for S3. So we can see that these permissions actually works. Okay, so let's that's for user 1. So let's sign out. So we can sign in user 2 and check out the permission for user 2. User 2 is EC2 read-only access. So let's see. Okay, so let's sign in user 2. Okay, so this is user 2 signing in. So we're going to check out the permission granted to user 2, which is EC2 read-only access for EC2 instances. So let's see if we can view the instances here. Instances. Okay, so this is it. Yes, we have the permission to actually view as a read-only access permission. So let's say we want to do something else, like stopping this instance. Let's see if we'll be allowed to do that. Let's go over to instance state and stop. You can see the error message says failed to stop the instance. You are not authorized to perform this operation. So user 2 has not been granted permission to stop. Just read-only access is what was granted to user 2. So we can see the permissions. What you're not allowed to do, you cannot do it. Let's sign out and sign our user 3 in, which is the EC2 admin. Okay, let's sign in user 3. user 3 has been granted the admin access to EC2. So let's go and check out what we can do. Let's see our instance. Can we view? Yes, we can. You can see the instances because we have the permission to do it. Okay, okay, let's see if we can stop. We have the permission to stop. Yes, we have the permission to stop. So for this particular policy, we have the permission to describe the instance, to start instance, to stop the instance. It can only be granted, so we can do it. Okay, let's see if we can do anything on S3 with this. Let's see. Let's see the bucket here. Error says access was denied. We are not giving the permission to view S3 bucket, just EC2 instances. So we can see that what you're not granted permission to do, you can't actually do it. Okay. Alright, so that will be all for this lab. In this lab, we were able to see explored our users, our groups. So we're able to also check out the policy, how it looks like, and what you are allowed to do. So that will be all for this lab. Thank you so much for sticking around.